Competency number 14. Was the pupil given appropriate and timely feedback during the session? So again, there's those two words, appropriate and timely, coming up time and time again. So we've got to be, we're looking at a lesson, it's got that feel now that the learner needs some feedback from you. We need to know where we're at. And if we're trying to focus the lesson, like I've said on the previous competencies, if we notice that we're trying to step back, I'm trying to ask the learner to step up, are we giving them feedback to know where they're getting it right, or to know when they're getting it incorrect, or to ask them to figure it out, think about the speed? So we could reflect. If you can, I always think it's great to reflect through the MSPSL routine. It doesn't matter who it's with, a learner or a full license holder, unless you're doing advanced and you're using IPSCA. MSPSL is great for identifying the faults yourself, but also to ask them to feedback to you. So we call it the feedback loop. So can we ask them, how are your mirrors there? Because it could be positive, don't always feedback the negative. We want to keep a positive environment, give them a pat on the back when it has gone right. Yes, your mirrors were spot on every time, well done. Effective use of mirrors, what are we looking for? I could see you saw the cyclist back there and you took effective action, well done. Signalling, how do you feel your signals were on the approach to the last roundabout? A little bit late. Okay, so what effect does that have on other drivers? And if we did that again, how many car lengths should we signal from? So you're giving them constructive, effective but appropriate and timely feedback, so not too far after the incident. So we're not asking them to reflect on a junction or a situation that happened early on in the lesson and expecting them to remember. Let's be timely about it. So I always say, if we can pause, and I mean pause, not sit there chatting for 5 minutes, just pause and break down the session, not only for yourself but for the learner, and recap quickly over what's just happened and give them some feedback, allow them to feedback to you. Quite often that forms the basis of the next sort of 20 minutes. Can they cope with a bit more responsibility, or should we step back a little bit? How do you feel your routine went, or how do you feel your judgment went on that last rural road there? What can I do to help you? So we start seeing that your teaching and learning strategy here under this competency starts complementing other things as well, like risk management and lesson planning. So we're still planning the lesson based on what's happening and on the feedback you're giving them, because only by giving them appropriate and timely feedback throughout the session can they develop. They know they've got it right, or might need to work on that. Hope this helps.